Coming up on First at 4, the Prime Minister of Israel extends thanks to the United States as his military continues its retaliation against Hamas. And one Williamsburg police officer receives an award from the governor for prioritizing child safety.
And our spring preview is brief as chilly air is back by this weekend. Those details coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts right now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, vivid images of the Israeli strikes hitting Gaza City are coming in, showing no pause in Israel's pounding of the Gaza Strip. Israeli leaders say this will not end until all its hostages are freed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu thanked the U.S. for its support today, saying Hamas should be spat out from the community of nations. Netanyahu stood alongside Secretary of State Antony Blinken at a news conference in Tel Aviv. The war, which has claimed at least 2,600 lives on both sides, is expected to escalate.
Hamas is ISIS, and just as ISIS was crushed, so too will Hamas be crushed. And Hamas should be treated exactly the way ISIS was treated. They should be spit out from the community of nations. No leader should meet them. No country should harbor them. And those that do should be sanctioned.
The Israeli government is under intense public pressure to topple Hamas after its militants stormed through a border fence Saturday and killed hundreds of Israelis. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken toured a donation pickup facility in Israel today. The secretary says he arrived in Israel bearing a simple message that the United States stands with Israel today, tomorrow, and every day.
This afternoon, I met with families of American citizens that Hamas has killed or taken hostage. The enormity of their anguish, their loss, is immeasurable. For the families of the missing, there's an unrelenting agony of not knowing the fate of their loved ones.
Blinken is expected to also travel to Jordan, where he plans to meet with its king. People around the world are watching the conflict and some are rallying. Hundreds of people gathered for a rally in Romania's capital, Bucharest, on Thursday to pledge their support to Israel and what its embassy called its fight against terrorism. Many of the attendees waved Israeli flags to express their support, and some had signs that read, "We stand with Israel." A rally in support of Palestinians took place today in front of the campus entrance at Brooklyn College in New York City. The demonstration started at noon and was organized by the Brooklyn College Students for Justice in Palestine. Protesters said the protest is in direct condemnation of a statement written by the president of Brooklyn College, and that students stand with Palestine.
We are tracking some fantastic weather across the mountains for your Thursday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, also some warmer temperatures. Let's take a live look across the mountains right now from the WYMT studio to London Corbin Airport, also to Pikeville, Moorhead. Nothing but sunshine and blue sky on your Thursday. Some fantastic weather to be outdoors. Those temperatures also above average in the upper 70s, up to 77 for Jackson, 78 for London, and 79 here in Hazard and Perry County. So we are about 10 to 15 degrees warmer today than we were yesterday. All thanks to that warm front that we talked about yesterday. It is now well off to the north, and that is producing some severe weather this afternoon over Nebraska, also Kansas. Some snow in Wyoming, also Colorado. Now, no snow for us, also no severe weather, but we are tracking an increase in those rain chances as we go late on Friday, also into this weekend. Not only watching out for some rain chances, but also some cooler and more breezy weather by this weekend. All those details on the way in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. One Williamsburg police officer is being recognized for putting vehicle safety first. Each year, police departments across the state receive awards by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Officer Bryson Lawson with the Williamsburg Police Department was awarded the 2023 Governor's Award for Occupant Protection Enforcement. He says it's important to put on your seatbelt as it could save your life.
You know, I mean, it is a good thing to get the award. However, each year from here on out, we're going to try to enhance seatbelt safety and, you know, get our numbers higher each year. And hopefully, it's not all about citation. It's more about teaching the public, you know, it's good to wear your seatbelt and it saves your life.
Officer Lawson led the department in issuing the most citations for seatbelt and child booster seat violations. He says they are seeing an increase in those violations. We'll have more about this tonight at 5:30. Thousands of union members at a Kentucky truck plant went on strike last night, putting more pressure on Ford to reach a deal with the UAW. Today, Ford executives said there are two major sticking points: pensions and battery plants. Sean Bowdy from WAVE, our sister station in Louisville, was there earlier today listening to picketers' concerns.
We've seen a lot of support through the streets here on Chamberlain Lane. Obviously, this is such a big employer for the city, so when operations essentially cease altogether, it means a lot not only for the people working here, the people working for a check for their family, but really the city as a whole. You mentioned nearly 9,000 union employees now on strike here at Kentucky Truck Plant. Well, it's 8,700 employees that are trying to provide for their family as well, but there's thousands more people across the country that are now on strike with UAW. Hundreds of millions of potential losses for Ford just from this plant alone if they continue to strike over the next couple of weeks, which is huge, obviously, for the plant here, but also for the economy here in Louisville with those employees not being paid during this time. However, UAW is working to ensure that they've got that taken care of. One union rep here tells me they're striking for a number of different reasons.
We got young workers that are working two jobs, right? That's part of the problem about the equity of sacrifice, what they're going in there and they're doing, the separation of the pay, working next to another worker that's at full pay, and you're making so much less.
That was Sean Bowdy reporting today in Louisville outside those picket lines. Now, thousands more workers could be affected if the strike continues, which could potentially face furloughs. Coming up on First at 4, we'll take you live to the Jenny Wiley Festival in Prestonsburg on this beautiful fall day.
And we stay dry and warm this afternoon, but changes are ahead. Your forecast coming up after this break.